All right. Hey, how's it, everybody? It is a 5 p.m. West Coast time, 2 p.m. Hawaii time. Let's see, 8 p.m. out on the East Coast and 7 p.m. for our Central Time folks. I am Mad Statter. This is Chatter with Statter. And it looks like not only do we have some folks hanging out in the Statterbox area, we've also got the gear today. So, for anybody whose Twitch is being twitchy, feel free to use that little gear and downgrade your feed or whatever, and hopefully that'll help get things all together better. All right, so I am going to be working in an old-fashioned way today. I poorly planned my day and ran out of time to set up my stream deck, so I'm going to be working straight off of the computer monitor like I used to in the old days, which means I might get confused like I did last night, but we should be used to that by now. Anyway, let's get the party started. All right, there we have it. So today is the last day of July, and I don't know where you're at, but I can tell you where I am at. It is hot and sunny. 90 some odd degrees. This whole past week has been a 90-degree week. Personally, I have no problem with it because I've got an air conditioner, and I pretty much, well, I haven't left the house because it's so flippin' hot, right? But most folks in the area do not have air conditioners and are living very miserable lives. And many of them have decided to go to the beach because I kind of just lied a little bit. I did leave my house. I left my house earlier. I got some video footage. With, hold on. Uh-oh. There we go. With this thing that I've got now. It's called the GoPro. And so I figured I would go out, get some video footage. And I made a quick little video I got a lot of footage and I made a quick little video. And I'm going to share it with you today. And we're going to point and laugh at what I actually did. We're not going to talk about it right now. What we're going to talk about is, hey, Kenny. Good to see you here today. So glad that we've got a couple more folks showing up now that the stream is starting. All right, you guys. So, let's see here. The last week or so, I've been doing a bunch of different stuff, trying to learn a lot of new technologies. Unfortunately, that left not a lot of time for me to figure out content and things and stuffuses to chat about with us. So, if you guys have something you want to chat about, by all means, bring it up. Throw it down in the chat box, because right now I've only got some things and stuff, silly things and stuff. One of the silly things and stuff that I've got is this picture of something that, well, let's just say I don't like to think that I'm bougie. But then sometimes I see things that I want that are so ridiculously expensive, and I'm like, I don't really care. I still want it. And, well, here we are. Looking at a pair of, they're not really rubber slippers, because they be fancy flip-flops. They're leather and stuff. And they're all, like, Western stitched, like Cowboy style. They're called Paniolo flip-flops. No, actually, they're called Paniolo, I think, beach sandals. And, yeah, they're beautiful. Aren't they beautiful? You want to know how much those beautiful things cost? Actually, before I tell you how much those beautiful things cost, how about this? Y'all want to guess how much these beautiful things cost? And hey, Poppy Shaney, good to see you. Nothing says romance like a quick meal at In-N-Out. Tracy is so lucky to be married to me. She's currently shaking her head at you. Okay, first off, Poppy Shaney, have to tell you, I've never heard of a quick meal at In-N-Out because it seems like the line is always so long that there's never, ever a quick In-N-Out at In-N-Out. But speaking as a non-California girl who like doesn't get to go to In-N-Out very often, I have to admit I will stand in line for an animal fry. I mean, not just one fry, you know, the whole serving. Yeah, yeah. Hey, Vanilla Coke Pepsi, how you doing today? We are talking about silly things and stuff. And one of the silly things and stuff is this that I'm talking about. I'm talking about a rubber slipper, only it's actually not a rubber slipper. It is a leather slipper, and it's beautiful. And Shock, you know, you bring up a good point. Nobody will be able to tell how pretty they are when I'm wearing them. That is a very good point. But they, I don't know. I still want them. Anyway, Kenny, you are very close. Not $100. The silly, stupid flip-flops cost $90. $90? $90 for those flip-flops. Why are there flip-flops? Because they're flip-flops that I want to buy so bad, Vanilla Coke Pepsi, but they cost like way too much money. And as Shock pointed out, nobody's going to see how pretty they are when you're wearing them. So I guess there's really no point in buying $90 pair of slippers. But I can say that if I was bougier than I am, I would have already bought them because, well, let's just say I took a screenshot of them and put them put them on my stream to show y'all. So yeah, I've been kind of obsessed with them. And Vanilla Coke Pepsi, $90, that is a scam. I know it is, isn't it though? But it's leather, right? It's pretty leather. See, this is what I tell myself. But you're right. It is a total scam. But I can't help it. Because they're just, look at these pretty shoes. They're so pretty. All right, I'll stop showing you my shoe obsession. But they are pretty. And let's see here. They're good. Okay, Andre, you do bring up a good you do bring up a good point. They are good for Latin moms. They're stylish chanclas, and you look good when you're beating your kids with them. That is true. Well, Vanilla Coke Pepsi, the leather will be ruined by water and sand. I know, which is really ironic because they are actually their proper title within the company is, you know, if you do like a web search, it's Paniolo Beach Slippers. And it's just like the last thing I would do is wear those slippers on the beach. Those slippers are like fancy slippers. Those are going out and being fancy. Those are my nighttime slippers basically. So yeah, that's, I wouldn't wear them in the water or, get them in the sand. And, let's see here. Talking about throwing the chanclas. Nice. That's so funny. So basically though, what the whole reason why I was bringing up the silly shoes is because, well, you know, I don't have a lot to talk about right now because I've been busy like doing kind of things and stuff. And Vanilla Coke Pepsi, if you're spending $90 on slippers, get some fur lined. Well, now you bring up a good point, my friend, because house slippers during the winter that I can go outside in are something that I am in need of. And I do enjoy those fur-lined kind of house slippers. So I don't know. That's maybe I will go searching for the slippers that are fur-lined instead. And Andre, you know that the Hawaiians have the dress-up slipper and then the regular slipper. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's just like I just want a fancy slipper, right? And it's true. You're right. Most Nikes cost about the same as $90. So, I mean, for a pair of shoes, it's a pair of shoes. And hey, Anware, good to see you. Right now, everybody is trying to talk me out of, and they're doing a good job because it really isn't something I need. But if I was bougier, I would be buying these slippers right now because these are really pretty. Aren't they really pretty? Aren't they pretty? All right. I'm going to stop with the pretty shoes. And thank you so much, Poppy Shaney, for gifting us love to Vanilla Coke Pepsi. That is super awesome. All right. So, let's see here. Oh, Shock, you've never been able to wear slippers very long. They kill your calves. Interesting. See, flip-flops, as I call them. they're one of the most comfortable shoes I've ever been able to wear. I can't stand Birkenstocks because the instep in the Birkenstock is so in the wrong place and so protruding into my natural. No. I hate Birkenstocks. They make my feet hurt so bad. And except all the detail would be covered by my feet. I know, that's what Shock said. And so it's like, that's the number one good reason maybe not to spend the money on those pretty slippers. But oh my goodness, if I had money to spend on anything and everything, and I didn't have to worry about anything, I would have a pair of those slippers. Yes, I would. Yes, I would. And Vanilla Coke Pepsi, it's too hot here. Cold. Okay, that is not what he just said at all. It's too cold up in their Canada to wear the flip-flops. And the flip-flops suck to wear. Birkenstocks have a bad reputation here, so only Uggs and fur-lined slippers. Oh, you will never see me in a pair of Uggs, my friend. I can guarantee that. I can promise you it's not going to happen. And Andre, yeah, there you go. When you go to the party, they say it must be a good party. Look at those fancy slippers. Exactly. There you go. There you go. Yeah, exactly. It's too hot here in Canada, said no one ever. For the most part. For the most part. Let's see here. Hold on. Kenny said something, but I missed it. And maybe if I'm super good, Santa Claus will come by with the hookup on those leather slippers. Perhaps. Although probably not, because yeah, we won't get into why Santa probably doesn't think I'm on his good list anymore. And eMusic. Okay, I admit, I have a pair of leather slippers made in Hawaii. Cost about $40 back in the 90s. I only wear slippers with an arch. That's why I buy the leather slippers. They last forever, worth the price. Oh, eMusic. See, you're exactly who I want to, but should not be hearing from. Because, see, that's what I was thinking. Was like, well, they're leather, and I wouldn't wear them all the time. They'd only be my fancy, and then they'll last forever. I didn't need to be reinforced, because I don't need much reinforcement. And exactly, Gil coming in. Hey, Gil, good to see you. Coming in with You Only Live Once. You guys are like the devil in my ear, which is okay because normally I'm the devil in somebody's ear, so that is very, very okay. And Vanilla Coke Pepsi, you only ever splurge on cowboy hats? Well, shoot, dude, if you're into cowboy hats, you have to splurge on them because a cheap cowboy hat is just silly and stupid. Cowboy hats, I mean, come on, man. Cowboy hats are for sure. Yeah, you better put some money in that, right? Right. And girl, just buy the shoes. Vanilla Coke Pepsi, the good ones are at least $200. Yeah, at minimum. I mean, shoot, dude. I don't know what I'm talking about here, but I want to say like a Stetson can run you like $1,000. I feel like someone told me they spent $1,200 on a Stetson once, and I about lost my teeth. I've got more than one tooth. Now, I might be making that up because $1,200 for a hat seems stupid as hell, but I feel like I'm not. I mean, I really do feel like Stetsons are, well, they're the gold standard of the goldness, and they weigh as much and are worth as much as gold. Let's see here. So Shock is saying that you have a pair of Scott's leather slippers. You borrow them from your spouse sometimes, but they're a little big. And let's see here. There's so much chat going on. I'm missing things and stuff. Let's see here. Andre, that's why you're telling Gil you only live once, says Gil. Not if you're Buddhist or Hindu. That's true, except for still, you only live once with the hat that you buy in that lifetime. So Gil is still right, except we're not talking about hats. We're talking about shoes. Well, we're talking about shoes and hats, but whatever. Either way. So let's see here. Okay, so Vanilla Coke Pepsi. Okay, so I was and wasn't making that up. Vanilla Coke Pepsi says, I love Stetson. Their most expensive hat is about $1,200, but most of their hats are like $250. Okay. Okay. See, I was under the impression that, right. Okay, cool. Cool. All right. That makes sense. That makes sense. And Gil, you wear a Stetson as well? Okay. Yeah. Shock. Would you wear anything else in Texas besides that? Let's see here. Vanilla Coke Pepsi. Don't buy the shoes. You know how much things you can get for $90 that will be more useful than the leather flip flops. That will be ruined because they're leather and no one to appreciate the design once it's under your feet. See, you're so rational. You're so rational. And Shock, you almost lost your job over shoes once. I got sent to HR once because of my shoes. I wasn't wearing. No one ever told me that it was a requirement to wear pantyhose at the office that I was working in, and so I came to work one day with sandals. It was hot. It was summer. I came to work with my sandals and my bare feet, and they did not appreciate that. I had to go see the principal, so to speak. So, oh my God, because you refused to wear heels? Oh, that would have really pissed me off. Let's see here. Kenny from the Cove, your black cowboy hat was a Christmas, thank goodness. $1,200 for a Stetson is not unheard of, but right, resistol, I'm going to say resistol, I don't know. Resistol is everybody's high-end quality, but a good felt cowboy hat ain't cheap no matter who makes it. Okay. And, hey, Picola T, good to see you. I was not expecting to see you because right before this stream started, Picola T just sends me this little message. I might not be there because I'm at the beach. And it's just like, of course you're at the beach, honey. That's where you live. But she was very nice to send a video, or maybe it was a picture. I didn't download it. I didn't get to watch it. So we're not going to see what Picola T was up to today. Well, we're going to see it. We're just not going to see it today. So there you go. Let's see here. And, Shock, indeed it did, and I had a doctor's note about not wearing crap shoes, but you were marked for a troublemaker. Oh, that would just... You see, back in the... I mean, I couldn't wear heels now that I broke my ankle, but back in the day, I used to love to wear heels. Heels were my flippin' funny... I loved wearing heels. But if I worked for a company that required me to wear heels, I would either come every day in my Doc Martens... I'd be dressed head to toe in my business suit, silk skirt, and whatever with Doc Martens, because I've actually done that before. Or I would find the most inappropriate high heels for work, like the clear platform stripper heels, or like, the super, just stupid high heel shoes. And and then I too would be marked as a troublemaker. I don't know. I don't know how I get to be seen as such a troublemaker. So, let's see here. Okay, so Kenny from the Cove wanting to die again. Because I don't know how to pronounce anything from Texas. So, not to brag, but my black hat was neither Stetson nor Resistol. Resistol. That's, I think, is how it is. And by the way, C Honda, you came in a little second ago, and I did not say hello because I was busy talking about whatever it was I was just talking about. But it's so good to see you here today. And I don't have any extra kitten videos right now. I did take some kitten footage, but unfortunately, because black cats are black cats and they like playing in the shadows, it wasn't very good footage. But I'm going to be getting kitten footage for us because, do I have to explain? Let's see here. Oh, okay. So Vanilla Coke Pepsi. Oh, doing some research for me. Thank you so much, Vanilla Coke Pepsi. Okay. So I'm on a Stetson website. There's one hat that is $1,600, but you're pretty sure it's because that was a hat worn by Raylan Givens, the main character in the greatest TV show of all time, Justified. Okay. First I'm going to say, hey, Pakalika, good to see you. And then I'm going to say, wait, what? I don't even know what Raylan Givens is, let alone the greatest TV show on all time, Justified. I've never heard of such shenanigans. I know not. So for me, that would not be worth $1,600 because I would just be clueless. Kenny, awesome. Your black hat was custom made by a local hat maker. Yeah, actually, this probably was a better hat than the Stetson and the Resistol as well. And yeah, exactly, Anne. Don't get me started about policing women's clothes at work and in schools. Just don't. Yeah, actually, okay, you said do get me started. I knew what you meant. I knew what you meant. And let's see here. Oh my God, are you kidding me, Vanilla Coke Pepsi? There's a $5,600 hat, which has a gold brace. That must be for Trump. And takes a long time to make, so he'd never buy that. Yeah, I wouldn't either. You got to be kidding me. And exactly, Picola T, cruel shoes. Glad those days are over. Absolutely. That is 100%. I can't. I mean, I look at women who walk, especially like in the stiletto heels, and I think to myself, I used to be able to do that. And I used to do that a lot. And yeah, I just look at it now and it's like I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that to save my life. And Shock, thank you so much. I knew I forgot to do something and I forgot to turn the music on. Thank you so much for that extra ear there for me. And Kenny, you have a serious hat addiction. That's funny. That's funny. Oh, good. At least somebody knows what Justified is other than me, and I don't. I mean, Anne at least knows that. And hey, Pakalika, thank you so much. Yes, this Honu was created by K-Man, actually, and I got it at an auction on Andy Boomatai's Daily Pigeon Live show back in the day. And I've worn it almost every single day since. So there you go. Ooh, fancy though, Shock. Your hat has a rattlesnake skin band with it. That's kind of cool. All right, so I am like so behind on the everything. Okay, so Andre, thank you for the 400 biddies. I'm like scrolling. And hold on, let's see what I'm missing. And okay, so Vanilla Coke Pepsi's talking about Justified. And it's a U.S. Marshal show, I guess, reassigned from Miami to his childhood home in the poor rural coal mining town of eastern Kentucky. Okay. Gotcha. All right. Hey, Pakalika, thank you so much for the biddies. And C. Honda, thank you so much for the biddies. And Shock, going through little scrolls on the chat. I see you were making fun of me to C. Honda, talking about how I didn't have anything to talk about, and then making fun of me for just babbling about nothing. It's like you know me or something. It's like you guys have hung out at the Chatterbox, and you know that I can fill the airwaves with nothing. And let's see here. Yes, I have, Kenny, seen two of your hats. The black cowboy hat and the black on black tri-corner hat. That is correct. I really do. That black cowboy hat was a super awesome hat. There was no two ways about it. The tri-corner, that's cute and everything, but you know, you don't wear that every day in Texas, I don't think, right? But that black hat, you could definitely wear that almost every day there. Oh, hey, Ann, thank you so much for the 200 biddies. You guys are so sweet. Kenny from the Cove, 200 biddies. Thank you so much. Okay, Andre, shoes are nothing. Yes, sometimes shoes are nothing. That's what I was talking about. Nothing, shoes, same div. All right, so. Oh, hey, Poppy Shaney, thank you so much for the 300 biddies. Can't believe it. We're just doing the hype train here. Alrighty, so what we're going to do right now, since I have told Shock, at least you're making fun of me to my face. Exactly. That's exactly it. So let's see here. Andre, are you saying, can you imagine the price of a church lady hat? I'm going to assume you mean a church lady hat, not just a church lady. And yeah, those hats must be really expensive too. Actually, I hadn't even thought about that. And Pakalika, oh my goodness, a woman talking about nothing. Is your ex-wife in here? I don't know. I don't think so, but I am not talking about nothing anymore. Remember, I was talking about shoes. Which is, anyway. Anyway, yeah. And where shoes can be a very serious thing. My closet says so. That's exactly it. Oh my goodness, you guys are making me giggle. All right, so I have this thing that I was gonna show you, not yesterday, but at the last stream, but I forgot, basically. And so this is gonna be one of the two videos that I'm gonna show you today. And this video actually is a comparison video of my cell phone footage and the GoPro footage. And in order, they were taken obviously two different times, which meant, but it's going to be the exact same route, but the timing of the route didn't really match up. And so you guys are going to get to see me, or the result of me learning how to speed up and slow down some things in order to keep the video in sync. Anyway, what I've got here is that's Secret Squirrel Drive from the top of the High Line down the Secret Squirrel Hill to Duwamish Head, right across the water from Seattle. Now, you guys have seen the cell phone video, but I went and I made a GoPro video of the same thing, and so now we're gonna watch. It'll be a split screen. I learned how to do split screens too, so it'll be a split screen, and we're gonna watch them both so you can see the difference, if that makes sense. Yeah, Vanilla Coke, you're right. It's always better to buy the good gear. It does last longer. That is true. But I wouldn't exactly call flip-flops good gear, would ya? Okay, so by the way, I guess I forgot to tell you. So, the bottom footage is the GoPro footage, and the top footage is the cell phone footage. Cell phone footage is taken inside the car. Inside the car. And the GoPro footage is taken from the top of the car. So, so there's some reflections that are now no longer an issue, and the glare off of the windshield no longer an issue. And I just feel like, I don't know, it's just sort of a better quality picture, but you guys might disagree. And so, yeah, there you have it. This is the GoPro versus the cell phone footage. Like I said, in the exact same area. Yeah, Andre, the GoPro definitely has some issues with lighting changes, but the quality of the footage in general is a little bit better. And oh, is there static sounds? Well, that's weird. I don't know where the static is coming from.
When you see him, don't you fear him. When you hear him, don't you run. This is the Jolly Man, oh, I'm so happy man. Spreading aloha all around me. Big boy Shaka, here he comes. Big boy Shaka, everyone. Big boy Shaka, here he comes. Big shaka, everyone. Shaka, shaka, I'm in the mood. Shaka, shaka, I'm feeling good. Shaka, shaka, everybody move. Shaka, shaka, to the big boy group, feeling irate. Yeah, 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 feeling irate. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Shaka, shaka, I'm in the mood. Shaka, shaka, I'm feeling good. Shaka, shaka, everybody move. Shaka, shaka, to the big boy group, feeling irate. Yeah, 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 feeling irate. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Big boy shaka.
Yeah, so you see, I was talking about how I like having both the cell phone and the GoPro because this particular little lens has is water repellent, not just water resistant. And so anytime like a drop of water gets on it, it doesn't stay on it. It like makes it roll off. And so so all the problems that Andy used to have with his other GoPro when it was raining out, apparently this particular lens cover won't have won't have that issue. And you love that pout of consternation when I realized I was muted. Yeah. Well, and what pisses me off is I had just muted myself because when you said that there was static, I wasn't sure where it was coming from, and so I actually muted a couple different things. And then you're like, oh, it's better. But I had literally just muted my mic, not but 5 seconds before forgetting I muted it. Whatever. No, it's actually, I'm glad that you mentioned the static, because now I'm going to have to go back and listen and just be like, what the heck was that? But actually, though, I'll probably never show that video again, because it really was just it was a couple things. First, that was me learning how to do a bunch of stuff on the video editing equipment software, and two, it was just to do a side-by-side comparison of the video quality. And I just lowered the Lono music a little bit because it was too loud. I know that some of the songs that he's got are mixed lower than others, and so I'm not at all surprised that some of the songs are like, whoa, that's way too much, man, way too much. And others, you're gonna be like, cannot hear. So yeah, just let me know when I need to pop it back up again, I guess. And yeah, so, all right, so that was me learning how to do things and stuff. But then today I went and did things and stuff, and I learned some things and stuff, and I thought I was being fancy with things and stuff, but I wasn't being fancy with things and stuff. So I drove around the beach today, and with the GoPro, because it's beautiful, and I wanted to show you guys just how crowded the beach was today, because everybody is at the flippin' beach today. So I videotaped everything, and then I came home and very poorly managed my time. Did a quick little edit of some highlights, super quick little edit of some highlights. Downloaded it. I downloaded it, and I thought I would be really fancy, so I downloaded it in 1080p. But there was a bunch of 1080p options, and I guess I chose the wrong one. because when I went to watch it today, or when I went to watch it like minutes before the show started, it looked actually a little different. Here, hold on. Let me show you what it actually looked like. Oh no, I guess I can't. Anyway, I downloaded it, or I somehow downloaded it in portrait instead of landscape. So it was all narrow. And for some reason, I don't know why it was all narrow. But then luckily I was able to figure out how to stretch the screen, etc. But yeah, I kind of felt like an idiot because I was so proud of myself for doing the fancy 1080 download, and I did not do it right. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to do it right. There we go. And Andre, you watched the summer solstice go down right around there. Yeah, it's a great little area. This is on the other side of the peninsula from Alki. So this Alki Beach faces the city of Seattle for the most part, whereas this actually faces west. Alki faces east. So this is this little drive is going up the west side, and then we're going to cross over the peninsula and come back to the other side of the peninsula on Alki side, and see the water there. And so and we're in shock. You guys are so funny. I make sure never to be around when the boys are peering, although I don't think you meant peering. I mean, I know what you meant. And we're la la la. Let's see here. Andre, you went there because you couldn't stop at Alki. Why couldn't you stop at Alki? Was there just no parking? I mean, because no parking is very, no parking at Alki is, no parking is at Alki. But actually, if you were at Alki, you wouldn't have been able to watch the sunrise or the sunset anyway, because it faces the wrong direction. You would have had to have been on this side of the point. So, let's see here. Mad Stutter, I'm not sure you know what peering means in the world of internetworking, but sure. No, I don't know what peering means. I thought you meant peeing. I thought you just gave an extra R in your peering. Or in your peeing. So there you go. I clearly don't know what I'm talking about. So, so very quick pour edit here. And then this little monument right there that you see right by the stop sign, that is actually where the Denny party first landed to build the city of Seattle. The Dennys and a couple other families sailed around the the tip, and decided to settle in Seattle. And so they actually first started on West Seattle, but the weather was so windy and unfriendly and inhospitable that they then moved across the water to where the city is now. And yes, this is GoPro footage. And this is basically right now where we're at is a place called Alki Beach. It is basically the only real saltwater beach that Seattle has. There's a couple other ones that are north of the city, that are on the north end of the city. But as far as like the most beach-like California beach experience, Alki Beach is where it's all at. And as you can see from this footage, everybody is at the beach today because it is 90 plus degrees. And even though the water is like 53 degrees out in all year round, sometimes 53 is fine. That's fine. When it's 90 degrees out, let's go into the 50 degree water. It is fine. And, so, Andre, they have a little beach by the water taxi. Sort of, they do. That's actually my little favorite little cove. That's where I used to take off for my, with my kayak most of the time. But that beach is very rarely an actual beach. When the tide is a little bit higher, it is just gravel. There's no sand. There's no it's just too high. This year, for some reason, we've had remarkably low tides in the area. I don't know what the deal is with that or why that's happening, but so you might have seen it a little bit more beach-like than it usually is. And yes, Anne, those are little electric scooters for rent. They've got bikes for rent. They've got electric scooters for rent. They've got the type of scooters that you can stand on and the type of scooters that you can sit on. In fact, coming up in this footage, I think, yeah, right here, in fact, how timely. This is this type of scooter, electric scooter, that you can sit on. And they have those for rent. And then obviously, you know what a bike looks like. And then, you know, the other, like the stand-up scooters. I think you know what I'm talking about. So those are the three main things that you're going to see on the streets of Seattle for the rental, you know, rent by the minute type of stuff. And but on Alki, though, you can rent kayaks, you can rent these bicycle cars, for lack of a better term. I don't actually know what they're called, but like you and, you know, 3 of your friends can all sit in it and pedal. And you know, it looks like a car, but it's powered by bicycle stuff. And you can rent trikes, you can rent roller skates, you can rent all sorts of things at Alki. So, and then, yes, Andre, you need to park down by the water taxi and use the scooter to get to the sandy part of Alki. Totally. Although, you see, now here's where I'm going to get super technical and nobody cares. Down by the water taxi isn't Alki. Down by the water taxi is actually called Duwamish Head. And Duwamish Head is the section of the shoreline that is just outside of the river as it comes into the Puget Sound. And it's a little jetty of land that is Duwamish Head. Once you go around the jetty of land, then you're on Alki. And so actually, like quite literally, so we're going around this little corner, and now where you can see the city, now we're at Duwamish Head. But before we just went through that corner, we were on Alki. If that makes any sense. And then those are the little carts. Just probably missed it, but I don't know if you saw a little cart. Okay, if you look on the left-hand side, you'll see random weirdness. And it looks like people are like in little buggies. Those are little bicycle carts. And so, okay, Andre, yeah, you knew it wasn't Alki, but you didn't know the name. Yeah, of course. Most folks don't, and most folks refer to all of this stretch of water as Alki. I myself even refer to it as Alki, even though technically it's not. So, Alki is, for the most part, the part of the beach that has sand on it. And the reason why I keep bringing up the sand is because that sand is not natural. That was sand that was literally brought in to create a beach. So, so let's see here. Pakalika, they named the same stretch of road 3 different things. No, actually, this is still called Harbor Avenue. And then when you go up to Alki, it's actually called Harbor Avenue. But then once you go around Alki Point, you are correct. Then it's called Beach Drive. Even though it's like the same road. I mean, I guess technically speaking, it's not the same road, but it sort of is. And so instead of going boop-a-doop to the end of the harbor, I decided to go back up the hill to the green, to the High Line where it's all green and pretty. And so this is, I'm sure you guys, if you've hung out here for any length of time, you've heard me refer to the High Line. And we are now going from sea level to the top of the beginning of the High Line. So even though you've maybe never been there, you can say you've seen it. That's right. The beginning of the High Line. And and don't say fall. I haven't had enough summer yet. Gosh darn it, Anne, you have been way too busy to have this summer be... You need a whole new summer break. You need to... I know what you need to do, Anne. Anne, you need to go to Hawaii and have a summer break there in February. That's what you need to do. Let's see here, Shock. When you're at the beach, it's called Harbor because that's where it goes. We have Richmond Road, which goes to Richmond, and from Richmond, it's Williamsburg Road. That's cute. Actually, we have roads in the Seattle area that are like that. They're like Kent-Kangley Road is the road from Kent to Kangley, and the Bell Red Road is the road from Bellevue to Redmond. So yeah, really, really nice. But no, Harbor Avenue basically is goes along the harbor, which is why it's called that. It goes along the harbor, and then once you go around the point and it's more open water, there's not a lot of shipping traffic in that area. That's the beach road. And let's see here. So I don't know what Anne and Shock are planning, but Shock said we should, and Anne said yes, please, and I want to say me too, even though I don't know. Oh, we should plan. That's what she said. And Shock, you're prepared to raise unholy heck on your next vacation? Well, my goodness gracious, my friend, we might have to do that because I am a full supporter of raising holy heck. And I think this is where the video ended. So you just saw from the beach to the top of the High Line. You can mark it off your bucket list, folks. You didn't even have to come to Seattle. That's right. And Shock says that me and Anne should all go to Hawaii. I agree. In fact, I think all of us should all go to Hawaii. I think that if Andy Bumatai has a movie that he made and he has the premiere in Hawaii, I think we should all go to Hawaii and watch the premiere, and we'll give a red carpet and everything, even if we have to color a piece of cardboard red. Bakaliga, you just participate in shenanigans. Well, I participate. Sometimes I instigate. Yeah, there you go. Andre, you need to get back to Hilo. Yeah, I would like to visit Hilo. I've never been to Hilo. I have to say, though, and having not been to Hilo, what I'm about to say is not valid. But I have to say, of all the islands that I've been to, the Big Island is my least favorite. And, you know, fighting words, I know, but it's my least favorite island. And where you want to visit the WOA dumpster? Yes, I absolutely would love to visit that dumpster and then take you guys on a little road trip of what it was that when I was chasing rainbows after I went to the dumpster. And honestly, the guys that lived across the street from the dumpster were kind of cute. So I wouldn't mind going back and just being like, hey, remember me? You know, remember what I gave you last time I visited? Let's go do that again. So, Andre, hey, I can wear the shoes at the movie premiere. Oh, there we go. I can wear those shoes. Shock, you don't want to watch any movies. You just want to get that out. Yeah, okay, I can appreciate that logic. I can appreciate that logic for sure. Yeah, we should definitely do that. But I do think, though, that if we could, you know, all of us somehow meet in Hawaii. I mean, I know that the Daily Pigeon Live was thinking about doing that whole Las Vegas thing, and that's fine, that's cool, I guess, whatever. But frankly, I mean, I know Andy didn't necessarily like the idea because Andy lives there, but I think we should all just go have a trip to Hawaii and have a big family reunion in Hawaii, so to speak. And Pakalika, perk, inquiring minds. Shock, weed. Of course, it was weed. And yes, that is correct. For those who don't know the story, I had procured some greenery while I was on the islands for my use on the islands. I was flying out that day and I still had some left. I didn't particularly feel like flying with it. As it turns out, I did fly with some, although I didn't know I was. We won't get into that. I didn't want to knowingly fly with it. How about we say that, right? And so when I found the dumpster, I noticed this group of people that looked like they would be very excited to have my leftovers. So I circled the block again and said, hey, you guys know anyone who might want this? I didn't ask if they wanted it. I said, do you know if anyone might want it. And the dude was like, why, yes, we do know someone who might want it. Grabbed the bag out of my hand, and as I drove away, I literally heard them, yeah, like just totally giving a cheer, into the universe. So, so there you go. That was that story. I didn't want to knowingly fly with it. Now, as it turns out, I didn't check my wallet. And when I got home, in my change purse, in my wallet, I was like, well, I guess if TSA would have stopped me for it, my face would have been as shocked, like, would have been a natural shock. So, I didn't know that I did what I did, but I did. Don't do what I did. I tried not to do what I did. I still did it, but don't do what I did. Yeah. Kenny from the Cove, was it Primo? Of course it was, Kenny. I wouldn't have bothered without it. Yes, it was. It was very nice. It was very good. And yes, it was a blessing from the WAO pageant queen to her subjects. Absolutely. I absolutely felt I felt like my offering was accepted by the locals. I felt like I did my queenly duties. And I know, right? I mean, right, Shock, totally on brand. It's like, oh, I didn't mean to do this, but I guess I did it. And I did it successfully. Don't do what I did, dudes. Don't do what I did. But if you're gonna be a stoner, you might as well be a stoner. And see, Honda, exactly. I have a reputation for giving goods away, like free beer. That is exactly it. I loved that story that I had. And for those who haven't heard the story, I will recap it very briefly. I was at an Ozzy Osbourne show. The show was over. We were leaving. A beer stand that had been selling beer earlier in the evening had closed up shop a while before the concert ended. The beer stand, however, was left in the open, unsecured. It was left. And so the only thing they did, though, was they took the tap lever off of the tap. And as I was walking by, because I was kind of drunk already, as I was walking by, I was like, I wonder if there's beer. I wonder if the keg is actually still connected, though. Because just because you remove the tap doesn't mean the lever doesn't still draw from the keg. And so I just went over there and pushed the lever, and lo and behold, beer started coming out. So I filled my water jug. I filled everybody's water jug as they were leaving. And then after I started filling people's jugs, I realized this whole cooler that is right next to the cart is not locked. It doesn't even have a lock on it. And it is a cooler full of beer. And so then I just started handing out free cans of beer, because it was easier than dealing with the keg. And and the really funny thing is, as I said before, and we'll say again, the cart was operated by an external contractor vendor, So the security personnel in the venue, the people that are usually like wearing yellow shirts that say security or yellow jackets that say security, they were literally like 20 feet, 15 feet away from me, watching me do this entire thing. But they worked for the venue. They didn't work for the vendor, the contractor vendor. So it wasn't their job to guard that. That wasn't their job. And so they just let me do it. And Shock, was it good beer? Well, first off, there's no such thing as bad beer, only better beer. Second off, there's no such thing, as long as if it's free beer, it's good beer. But what you're really asking, it was Budweiser and Bud Light. I mean, it wasn't good beer. But exactly as Pakalika says, when already drunk, all beer is pretty good beer. So, and yeah, there we go. Shock. So and where, there's bad beer. Actually, that is true. I'm not a fan of a lot of beers, But a lot of folks do think that there's no such thing as bad beer. So I actually think that for pizza, there's no such thing as bad pizza, only better pizza. And Shock thinks that the venue wanted the contractor to learn something. I don't really know if it was just that, or it was just really a case of, it's not my job. Like, I haven't been trained to deal with this. I don't know how to deal with this. It's not my job. My job is to make sure that, that, you know, you can't, or that people aren't killing themselves. Well, I wasn't killing anybody. I was giving away free beer. So, oh good, C Honda, I'm so glad that you still love that story, even though you've heard it more than once. It was a really fun night, and I've got another good story from that night too. I'm gonna refrain from it, but yeah, it was an Ozzy Osbourne show, and it was a really good night. That is for sure. And Kenny from the Cove says that he likes his Guinness a little bit warm. Okay, now see, here is where I'm gonna come in with, no, I don't like Guinness at all, so Guinness would be considered a bad beer. But if I remember correctly, Guinness is not supposed to be cold. Like, it's supposed to be, I mean, not warm, but like it's supposed to be basement root cellar temperature. You know, like not cold, but not warm, but like just a little bit, maybe a smidge colder than room temp. You know, it's like if room temp is 72, maybe 68 is what it's supposed to be. Right, yeah, okay, Pakalika, right, room temp is what you're saying. And yeah, Guinness rocks. You can, Pakalika, here we go. You can sit next to me and you can drink all of my Guinness. I'll share you. And Andre, it's not a beer, it's a stout. No, it's a beer. I mean, a stout is a type of beer. A Pilsner is a type of a beer. A lager is a type of a beer. Lots of people think of Pilsner and lagers as what beer is, but, you know, you've got your ales, you've got your stouts, you know, you've got all sorts of things, but it's still beer. It's just gross beer. It's just a stout beer. I mean, it is stout, but it's still a beer. And Pakalika, Guinness and a shot of Jameson. That sounds like a very Catholic drink to be drinking. And Kenny from the Cove, Guinness is good when it's floorboard cold. I don't know what you mean by floorboard cold, but I think I'm gonna guess that you mean it was just a little bit cold. And see, Honda, tell the story when I met Ozzy. Oh, honey, I don't remember meeting Ozzy, so you're going to have to tell that story. What story was that? Oh, see, Honda. Did I meet Ozzy? Oh, man. This is embarrassing. Did I have a story where I met Ozzy? Okay, yeah. I would tell that story if I could remember it, but jeez. Yeah, and let's see here. Shock, it's traditional to keep a 6-pack or so under one of the tiles in the machine room, the raised floor from which all cold air is vented. Oh, okay, so that's floorboard cool. Okay, that makes sense. That, I guess, makes sense. And so, well, and then Shock, of course, yes, beer was never refrigerated until refrigeration. So, American beer is cold, so you can't taste how lousy it is. That's fine. That absolutely is fine. I mean, that's the whole reason why I like my Pilsners and my lagers, is because they can be what I call water beer, and I like beer. I like beer that is watery. Oh, wait, so raised floor is not the same as floorboard? All right, then. I clearly don't know nothing about nothing. And Pagalika, you're going to be heading out because you're in charge of barbecue steaks, rice, and corn tonight. That sounds delicious. So send an Uber. Send an Uber up for me. I'll be with you when I'm done with the stream. When I'm done with the stream, you should be done, right? Yeah, it'll be perfect. It'll be perfect. Good to see you today, Pakaliga. Have yourself a good one and enjoy that. Enjoy those dins. And let's see here. Andre, beer was drunk in early America because it was safer than the water. Yeah, actually, I wouldn't be surprised if that was true in more than just America. I mean, I know that when I was a little kid, at least, my mom told me, and Lord knows that source of information is questionable, but my mom mentioned that her, some of her Italian friends, they drank wine, you know, with all of their meals, etc., because it was part of their culture. Even the kids drank the wine. Because in places like Paris and Italy, the water was too dirty to drink it, so everybody just drank wine. And so, whether or not that's true, I don't know, but it kind of makes sense. And so let's see here. Shock is telling me the cooling for data centers is done using a cold layer under the floor with vents up into the racks. Oh, well, that sounds good. And logical, considering data centers usually are... Oh God, those server rooms are so hot. Let's see. So, and yeah, Andre, they made it weak for the kids. Yeah, exactly. Let's see here. Kenny from the Cove, you never met Ozzy, but you met Jakey Lee when he was playing guitar for Ozzy. Security ran you off before you could find Ozzy. Yep, see, security was doing their job. Their job wasn't to keep you from stealing beer from the vendor. Their job was to keep you from getting to the talent. That's exactly it. And so let's see here. Shock is saying small beer is for drinking without getting hammered. It only keeps a short while, and the housewife would have to periodically brew it, but it's safer than water. I have never heard the term small beer. Interesting. Hey there, JY Gant. How you doing? We are sitting here talking about beer and how some beer is better cold and some beer is better warm, but everybody agrees that free beer is acceptable beer. And, oh, Kenny from the Cove, floorboard cold is as cold as the floorboard of your car. Yeah, I don't know. That doesn't sound very cold. And that also sounds like a term from the 70s because no way in hell after the 80s and the drunk driving and everything would floorboard of your car be a refrigeration measurement standard for the beer that you're consuming. I mean, I absolutely understand how it became a standard, but yeah, we don't talk about... Things were different in the 70s than they are now. And JY Gant, you like Shiner Bock from Texas? You know, I've never had Shiner or Pearl, but I have definitely wanted to try those infamous Texas beers, the Shiner Bock and or the Pearl. And Kenny from the Cove, if security was really doing their job, I would have never made it down to the tour buses. Well, I mean, I guess it depends on what you were wearing. Because I made it down to plenty of tour buses before. Security doesn't really matter, or doesn't really mind. Let's see here. When Shock's wondering when was the last time you stepped on a pop top? I don't know. What's a pop top? What? Stepped on a pop top? Like, you mean like crushed a soda can? Or a pamplemousse can? I'm still very confused. So, okay, if I look up Townsend's plus small beer on YouTube, I will get this story. Okay. And, let's see here. Okay, so now Shock and Ann are like, oh, back when you pulled off the top from the beer can rather than just breaking the seal. Oh, right. The pull-off tabs. Okay, I get it now. I get it. The pull tab for opening the beer. Right. Yeah, I don't know. When did they stop doing that? Yeah, when did they stop doing that? I would have to say, I remember in Hawaii, the pull tabs on the beer. I don't know whether or not I moved here in 78. So I want to say that the Pop Tops they stopped doing Pop Tops before 78. That's my guess, and I don't know what I'm talking about. And so, JY Gant, is glass better than plastic or cans? You like your drink in glass? Tastes better? Okay, well, hands down, glass is better than plastic. Period. End of story. And you know what? This is a show about chattering and talking about stuff, but we're not even going to talk about it. Glass is better than plastic, so the decree goes. Period. End of story. There's end of discussion. All right, we can talk about it. If somebody else disagrees, we can talk about it. But no, glass is clearly superior to plastic. End of story. No two ways about that. But as far as cans go, I don't know. I actually, I don't mind cans, I don't mind cans. Like for beer. Wait, that's not beer. That's pamplemousse. But I don't know. I don't mind. I drink Pabst Blue Ribbon out of a can. I drink Pabst Blue Ribbon out of a can, and quite honestly, the idea of drinking Pabst Blue Ribbon out of a bottle kind of makes me laugh. I mean, what? A bottle is way too fancy for Pabst Blue Ribbon, right? Right. I mean, maybe if we're talking a Corona, and actually I do like Corona, and I do like Corona in a bottle, glass. So let's see here. Okay, so Andre's saying that the pull tab stopped in 75. Wow. Okay, all right. I kind of figured it was later than that. And Shock is saying that PBR needs the added flavor from the aluminum. Well, you might be onto something. And yes, exactly, C. Honda. The queen has spoken, so it is. Glass, yes. And Kenny from the Cove, in the 80s, a bunch of people in your crowd made Pop Top chains to hang around our rearview mirrors. It was our way to advertise that we partied. Right, exactly. And didn't hipsters make Pops popular again? Yes, they kind of did. However, I was drinking Pabst long before it was like popular again, because it was one of the cheapest and wateriest beers out there. If a local bar doesn't have Pabst, it probably has Rainier, and so I'll have Rainier. And if it doesn't have Rainier, well, it probably has Pabst, so I'll have Pabst. And yeah, there we go. And Pabst Blue Ribbon and Budweiser are better than the Beast. That is true. Milwaukee's Beast, or technically speaking, Milwaukee's Best, is its own animal, literally. And yeah, definitely not my favorite in the water beer category. And so... See, and Andre, you loved Rainier when you were an underage drinker. Exactly, because why? Because it didn't taste a whole lot like much of nothing. It tasted like water. It was easier to go down than a lot of the other gross beers that had flavor. And Kenny from the Cove in Mexico, the locals don't like Corona very much. To them, it's white kids on spring break beer. Oh, absolutely. I have no... illusion in my mind that I'm, being exotic drinking some Mexican beer, for God's sake. No. I like it because it doesn't taste a whole lot like much of nothing. Whereas Tecate or Dos Equis, those actually have flavor, and I don't particularly like the flavor, but they do at least have flavor. That's why I like the Corona, is because it doesn't got no flavor. And Picola Tea, Mickey's Big Mouth when you were a teen. Yeah, do they still make Mickey's Big Mouth? We used to drink them, and they looked like little barrels. I actually still have, or I don't have them, but my boss had like cases of empty Mickey's Big Mouth bottles, and she has converted her entire spice cabinet to nothing but the Mickey's Big Mouth bottles. And so whenever I'm at her house and looking in her spice rack, it's just nothing but Mickey's Big Mouth bottles with different labels. You know, it's just like, you know, seasoning salt and, you know, paprika and things like that. And if you're so young that you have to find beer that doesn't taste as gross, then you're too young to drink booze. Well, that's okay, Grandma. Okay, tutu lady. But that's not the point. When you're too young to drink booze is when you're drinking booze. Like, that's just how that works. That's just how that works. It's an acquired taste. You have to, like, get through the acquisition, right? You have to acquire it. And it takes long and hard time for acquiring the taste. Takes practice. You gotta practice. So you would, like, you know, not stand out when you go on the 21st birthday. See, Anne, you're missing the whole point. They're planning ahead. They're planning. They're studying. They're getting ready for their 21st birthday exam at the bar. They want to know what they want to drink before they get there. See? There you go. There you go. That's what they're doing. That's what the underage drinkers are doing. They're studying. So let's see here. Shakalaka considers looking for Mickey's if it would standardize the spice rack. That's actually why she did it, because her spice rack is open to the visuals. You know, it's open. And she got tired of just looking at this cacophony, which I realize is a sound thing, but it was a visual cacophony of all of these different jars and bottles. And so, she standardized them. That's exactly it. And Andre says that the wine cooler was the gateway drug, especially for women. And the wine cooler would have been your era. Zima was my era. And now what they've got is as the gateway is the White Claws, the sparkling hard ciders. And I know that the sparkling hard ciders are a quote-unquote gateway, even for people who aren't intending to be a drinker. I had a friend who had a 15-year-old son, and this was several years ago. So she would drink she'd buy White Claw, and she would have a few, and the box would be in the fridge, and, you know, she would drink them on occasion. And she started to think, like, God, am I a really big drunk? Like, I thought I had 6 left and there's only 4. What's going on? Like, I don't remember drinking. Did I drink them? Well, I must have drunk them. What? Well, so then one day she goes into her son's room and he's got these White Claw cans all over. I mean, like, not hiding it at all. And so she's like, oh my God, okay, so I haven't been drinking the White Claws that have been missing. He's been drinking them. And she's like, hey, what the flying fork are you doing here? And he honestly, and she believed him, because he thought it was just he didn't know it was booze. He was like, oh my God, he was like, I kind of wondered why I felt weird after I drank, more than one of them. But he wasn't hiding them. They were, like I said, the empty cans were all over his room. There was no intention to hide it. He was like, Mom, I didn't know that these had alcohol in them. I won't be drinking them again. And she believed him. And that's, as it turns out, he hasn't drank them since he found out there was alcohol in them. But talk about a gateway. I mean, he literally, like, he wasn't even trying to go be a drunk. And he's all, I'm feeling kind of weird if I drink more than one of these. So I think that the White Claws are the gateway these days. And yeah, for sure. Because and it's not labeled at all like an alcoholic beverage. It's Totally. And the way the White Claws are labeled are so reminiscent of energy drinks that I am sometimes sitting in 7-Eleven looking at this case of beverages and wondering, like, well, is this an energy drink that I've never heard of before? Or is this or is this some sort of booze? You know, is this a hard soda or a hard seltzer, or is it an energy drink? I don't know. And so, yeah, the White Claws definitely, I don't quite know how they got away with the labeling that they did, because I know that there's a lot of laws when it comes to labeling booze. So whoever designed that label knew those laws and how to just like toe the line of what was acceptable or something, because like you said, it doesn't look like it's booze. Doesn't look like it's booze. And let's see here. Andre says the pot edibles need to be watched, especially when they look like gummy bears. Never leave them out for your kids. Oh, for sure. Actually, to tell you the truth, honestly, when it comes to edibles, I don't care if you've got kids or not. You really shouldn't leave them out, because people who don't smoke weed, or even people who do, but people who do probably wouldn't. Anyway, people who don't smoke weed, it might not even occur to them like, oh, hey, that open bag of gummy bears, you know, I'll go take one. And it's like, well, that's great, but you just ate 25 milligrams of THC, and 25 milligrams of THC doesn't do anything for me because I smoke weed all the time. But since you don't smoke weed ever, you're going to be useless for the next 8 hours. So I don't know. The edibles, like, I like that there are edibles available. Obviously, it's better to ingest your THC not using your lungs. Not going to argue that. But ever since weed was legalized, I have been not anti-edible, but like, it's the edibles that are going to get people in trouble, you know, because people don't know their tolerance. Because like Andre just said, edibles even mess with pot smokers because they can sneak up on you. Right. It takes a lot longer for it to hit your system. It takes about 45 minutes. Whereas if you're smoking weed, it takes less than 45 seconds before you realize, oh, dude, yeah, I just took a hit and I kind of am feeling something. Whereas you eat a brownie and 45 minutes later, you're like, I don't really know if I feel anything. And then an hour later, you're like, I don't know, maybe I need to go to the hospital. I'm so high. And, you know, edibles are the, they're just the sticky wicket. They're just, you know, they're the chaos. You just don't really, they are not to be, they're seen, I guess what bugs me is people think of edibles as a beginner introduction to THC, and I absolutely disagree. No. Edibles are advanced. Edibles are an advanced user only. Or maybe intermediate, you know, but it is not a good way to get into THC as far as I'm concerned. That's just me. That's just my little old-fashioned, that's right, I've got some old-fashioned views. It's my old-fashioned view. You need to smoke weed before you eat it. You gotta know what you're getting yourself into. Now get off my lawn, little ones. And where even if it's legal for recreational use, it shouldn't be labeled or handled or stored like a recreational substance. Absolutely, abso-flippin'-lutely. And Kenny, you like the edibles that look and taste like Andes mints. I don't know what you're talking about. We don't have those up here. I have found that because it's a state-by-state thing, a lot of companies in the state of Washington, there's very specific labeling requirements and requirements for who can manufacture the edibles, and in order to be sold in Washington State, you have to be manufactured in Washington State. And I'm assuming that a lot of the other legalized states have similar laws, and so consequently, I have found that an edible treat that you can find everywhere in Seattle you probably won't be able to find it in Portland, and you certainly are not going to be able to find it in California. And stuff that you find in California, you aren't necessarily going to be able to find in Washington or Oregon. So I don't actually know what mints you're talking about, but those do sound like they would be tasty because there's sort of a mint-esque essence when you eat weed. So that is a pretty good that's a pretty good flavor profile for what that is. Let's see here. Shock is saying that edibles once made a worthless micromanager the best boss ever. There was a serious discussion about whether the team could afford to keep him supplied. That's hysterical. Andre, you've got the Andes mints in California. Yeah, well, I wouldn't be surprised if that's probably where Kenny's source got them from, was California. And let's see here. Picola T, do you think kids these days ask adults to buy weed for them like they used to ask adults to buy booze? I don't know, but I can tell you this. One of the reasons why I smoked weed when I was a kid was because it was way easier to get than booze. And so I have actually wondered if weed is now harder to get for kids because it is legal. I mean, obviously you've got the ask the adult route, as it were. But let's see. And it can't cross state lines as a legal product. Well, that's true. It can't, but it does. But it does. And actually, check this out. Speaking of, it can't cross lines if it's going to be a legal product. If you buy cigarettes on the Indian reservation to avoid the state taxes, technically speaking, you're not supposed to take those cigarettes off of the reservation. Technically speaking, you are supposed to consume them on the reservation because they're taxed differently. The tax stamp is different on the Indian reservation cigarettes than they are the mainstream cigarettes. And so people cross imaginary boundaries all the time with illegal things. And let's see here. Shock Scott says that there's Andes all over the place out here. You used to like them a lot. Well, are they, when you say that there's the Andes mints, do you mean medicated or do you mean traditional? So let's see here. Well, yeah, Andre. Okay, so Andre's saying no, you can't ask the adults to buy weed for you because they've got security outside of pot shops, and the security is often armed and armored. Well, first off, not every pot shop has security. My pot shop doesn't have a security, so there is that. So obviously, you're probably not in Andre's situation going to see people hanging out in the parking lot asking, but that doesn't mean that you can't ask your older brother, when he's at home, before, like, hey, go buy me, here's $50, go buy me go buy me a quarter ounce of some weed. And then older brother, nobody would be wiser. As long as you've got the hookup before you hit the parking lot, you could still do it. But yeah, Picola T, exactly. Hanging out outside the store, like 7-Eleven. Yeah, that's not happening. I'm sure. And, okay, Shock, you're just talking about the plain ones because you, you don't know about any medicated ones. Got it. Okay. So, excuse me. So, by the way, you guys, I'm really stoked for all of you who were able to come to Statterbox at the cinema last night. And I was very excited to show the movie Sons of Halava. And I hope that for those of you who only were able to catch part of it or want to watch it again, that you'll check it out. And, hold on, let me make sure I'm where I'm supposed to be. And, this is what I wanted to do yesterday when I was on my Statterbox at the cinema, but I couldn't. So, we're going to do this now. Uh-oh, no we're not. We're going to do this. Oh, no. Okay, no, we're not doing anything. Never mind. I just did everything wrong. So yeah, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Nope. Yeah. Nope. Let's see here. And Andre's saying you have a lot of illegal pot down here. They steal it from the pot shops and sell it on the street. Yeah, I'm sure that they've got that situation in Seattle here. And actually, I'm sure that they've got it in Seattle, only not necessarily that framework. I know that there are still people who, even though it is legal and you can go buy it, I know people that still grow their own because basically the cops these days have looked at it, even though technically speaking, it's not legal for you to grow unless you're properly licensed and permitted. The cops are just like, it's kind of legal now. We're not going to bother with this. And so the risk for growing your own has dropped incredibly, even though technically speaking, growing your own in the state of Washington is still kind of illegal. Unless if you've got the right permitting and paperwork, you can. But the people that I know that have their grow operations, they don't. So there's still black market grow operations actually. And so I have no idea where that weed goes, because as far as I'm concerned, why would I want to pay twice as much for stuff that may or may not be as good as what I can get for half as much at the store? Because when it got legalized, whew, boy howdy, did it get cheap. And so, Shock, in Virginia, you have to grow your own up to 4 plants. Yeah, that's how it started in Washington as well. It started as a medicinal thing where you could grow your own, and then they had medicinal shops where you could go buy it, but you had to have your doctor's paperwork. And then finally, the state was like, why don't we just drop this charade and make it legal for everyone over the age of 21? Because we all know that half the people who have their paperwork saying that they need it probably don't really need it for medical reasons. So And so let's see here. Andre, you have a legal pot grower that uses huge diesel generators in an East Oakland hood, polluting the area with diesel fumes. Yeah, that sucks, but okay, first off, not stoked that he's using those generators. That's ridiculous. But my best guess is all of the illegal grow operations aren't running a lot of generators these days. Like, you know, if you're running a generator, you better be legal, I guess is what I'm saying. Like, if you're going to be this obvious about it, you better be legal. Right. And Shock coming in with the words of truth. See how this lady can wind up an entire hour-and-a-half stream with nothing to talk about? There we have it. You witnessed it today, my friends. But all because of you, because you guys kept bringing up the topics conversation. We talked about shoes. We talked about GoPro videos. We talked about beer. We talked about weed. I mean, gosh, guys, sounds like a great conversation to me. We talked about the beach. Okay, so it is 2 minutes till the bottom of the hour, so we might as well wind everything up. I want to thank everyone who hung out here today. Everyone for the gift subs, the resubs, the biddies that have been thrown. That is just supremely awesome. Thank you guys so much for putting up with my, hey, I'm learning how to do this, and this isn't really very good. It's not very good, but hey, I need to learn to do it. So here, watch this poorly made thing. I'm so happy that you guys have patience for that. Hopefully my poorly made things will slowly get to be betterly made things. Betterly made things. That's how that works. So I want to thank Ann Ware for the 200 biddies. I want to thank, I think it was Andre for the 600 biddies, but let me double check. Yes, it was Andre for the 600 biddies. And Andre, thank you so much for that guest sub for Pakalika. Next time he comes in, he'll be able to throw the half-fast emote along with the ha-has and the little pretty flowers. So let's see. I think today's Sunday, which means next time I see you is going to be Wednesday. And hopefully by Wednesday, we'll figure out something to talk about. And on Saturday, I'm 99% sure that we're going to be watching a movie that I chose because of the great music in it. It's fun music, it's good music, and it's a movie that you guys may or may not have seen in your lifetime. It's a movie you may or may not have seen as a child. It's a movie you may or may not have seen ever. But we're gonna watch the Muppet movie. That's right, you heard it, the Muppet movie. So get ready for Kermit, get ready for Miss Piggy. Most importantly, you better get ready for Fozzie Bear, because we're gonna watch the Muppet movie on Saturday. Yes. You haven't seen the Muppet movie, Andre? Well, then you've never seen, you ain't seen nothing yet. You're gonna watch the Muppet movie. That's right, animal. Yes, and we're going to see the source of the Rainbow Connection, and I have a funny story about the Rainbow Connection song. Well, I thought it was funny, but I guess it's actually not, but whatever. I'll tell that most likely if I remember on Saturday. So yeah, Saturday it's going to be the Muppet movie. Wednesday it is going to be Whale Talk Wednesday, and I have a video for you guys. I might even have more than one video, but I have one video for you guys in regards to the whales that's really awesome and really scary and really super cool. So I'm super stoked about that. And where exactly? Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem. Honestly, seriously, you guys, they're a really good band. Yeah, I know it's a band of Muppets, but seriously, there's some good flippin' music on the soundtrack. And that is why I decided that we needed to watch the movie, was so everybody could learn how good the music really was on the Muppet movie soundtrack. So there you have it. And knows what I'm talking about. They rock. All right, so minute past the bottom of the hour. I guess it is time to wrap it up now. So, yeah, there we have it. The Swedish Chef. Yes, Swedish Chef is the Muppet. I think he's in that movie. And yeah, exactly, Andre. We don't mind being called Muppets. Apparently other people do in other countries, but it's time to, it's time for us to be okay to watch our Bork, 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 our movies, our Bork, Bork, Bork and movies. And yeah, Picola T, I'm missing Medium 7-Up today too, but I think he is busy doing something that is way better than watching this live stream. I'm not trying to put you guys down. I'm not trying to put me guys down. But if you were on the North Shore of Oahu today, would you be inside watching me? I wouldn't. There we go. So on that vote of confidence, I guess I'm going to wrap things up. All right, guys, take care. Have yourself a great weekend, and I will see you on Wednesday.